Left unmanaged, that rainwater would turn the hillsides to mud, and Machu Picchu would slide away. The Inca avoided that by creating a sophisticated drainage system. Inside the terraces, archaeologists found a layer of rich topsoil. Under that, a layer of sandy dirt, and finally, gravel and larger stones.
We
could say that they are filtering galleries, meaning even when you get a lot of rain, the terraces never flood because the water is filtered through these progressive layers of material.
Instead of racing down the mountain, the water slowly works its way into the ground, so there's almost no erosion. With this basic design in hand, the Inca fixed the first terrace into the mountain, then started on the next, replicating their way to the top. Once there, Inca engineers had to reckon with an even bigger water problem. This is a city paved with stone, with few places for rainwater to go. But the Inca had foreseen that problem, and during construction carefully placed more than 100 drains throughout the city. Many of these drains delivered the runoff from the elevated parts of the city into the central plaza. Further digging there revealed a remarkable innovation to handle all of that water. Beneath the usual layers of topsoil and gravelly dirt, Wright's team hid a thick layer of white granite chips, the spoil from years of Inca stone cutting.
In effect, what the Inca did was to build an underground drainage system, a type of conduit to carry water safely away.
These were colossal earthworks, extending nearly 9 feet below the surface and encompassing several acres. They collected water and shunted it away from the city.
The Inca engineers spend about 50%, maybe 60% of their overall effort underground, doing foundations, site preparation to make sure that Machu Picchu would last forever.
So as vast as the city appears, there's 60% more of it underground, holding it all in place. While the Inca went to great lengths to get rid of water, they also built fountains which seemed to celebrate it. There are 16 fountains in the city, each beautifully designed, and a practical source of drinking water. The fountains are fed by a natural spring, found nearby on the flanks of Machu Picchu mountain. From there, the Inca engineered a canal whose 3% grade was carefully crafted to deliver just the right amount of water to the fountains. Wright calculated the flow to be between 6 and 30 gallons per minute, depending on the time of year, enough to sustain a population of close to 1,000 people.
It was remarkable. It was something that created great respect by us for the Inca engineers all those years ago.
It is a respect also shared by Estete's team as they restore the Inca's original stonework. In spite of their lack of iron tools, the Inca were somehow able to transform granite, a notoriously hard stone. There's a clue to how they did this in Machu Picchu's quarry.
We see here the basic method the Inca used to cut rocks. The idea is to create a neck in the block and then cause it to fracture.
It was bone-jarring work.
La técnica para el trabajo de la cantería inca.
The technique the Inca used was direct hammering. With the rough blocks, they would start with a large tool like this one. As you can see, it shears very easily. Then they'd gradually use smaller and harder tools to give it that strong, smooth surface.
Once the cutters had roughed it out, they put the stone on log rollers or mud and pulled it close to the construction site. The final step was to move the stone into place and match it to its mate.
And here is the indentation they made, which matches the edge of the rock below it. It's held up by this wedge until they shape the two surfaces to match. Then the wedge is removed and the two stones fit together perfectly. Here you can see the brace points they use to push the block up into place. They put beams here to lift the rock up. Once the rock was in place, these points were beaten, just as you see here and here in all these other rocks. That means that the finishing work was done at the site. We can see that this corner wasn't finished yet. All this portion was yet to be cut off in order to finish the wall.
Driven by a royal mandate to build it here, Machu Picchu is a tribute to Inca engineering and artistry. Its hundreds of terraces buttress it from below. The granite walls are still solid after 500 years because of a remarkable drainage system. And it is crowned by an ingenious lacework of fountains cascading from the mountain spring above. But why go to all this effort? Why did Pachacuti order Machu Picchu built in this forbidding place? Was it for religious reasons? What we know of Inca religion comes again from the chronicles of Father Bernabe Cobo, written after the Spanish conquest.
They worship with equal reverence and with the same ceremonial services the sun, water, earth, and many other things that they held to be divine.
The Inca believed that the sun and the mountains were deities that had to be appeased through ritual. Cobo reported that one of these rituals was child sacrifice. This claim was dramatically confirmed in 1999 by high-altitude archaeologist Johann Reinhard. Then, Reinhard discovered 3 perfectly preserved child mummies on a high peak in Argentina, in the southern part of the Inca Empire. They had been sacrificed as an offering to the same mountain gods Cobo described. Perhaps the mystery of Machu Picchu's location can be explained by this reverence for the landscape.
We know that throughout the Andes that people believe that the natural environment has sacred aspects to it. These landscape features at Machu Picchu have helped explain what otherwise is a tremendous mystery.
This idea, called the sacred landscape theory, suggests that in addition to worshiping the sun, rivers, and mountains as gods, the Inca derived power by being physically connected to them. So, is that why Machu Picchu is here? Machu Picchu is in an unusual place to build, even for the Inca. Their capital, now modern-day Cusco, and other Inca towns like Pisac are in flatter, more accessible terrain. It's also remote, a 5-day walk from the capital in Inca times. And today, it takes tourists 4 hours by train, followed by a harrowing bus ride up to the ruins. But throughout the site are hints why the Inca thought that this place was worth the trouble. In certain places, the Inca carved stones in the shape of sacred peaks surrounding the city, then displayed them like massive, holy icons. Even Bingham was struck by stones like this one, called the Sacred Rock, that mirrors the outline of Mount Yanantan directly to the northeast. In Inca times, visitors would approach Machu Picchu from above, where they could see the city is surrounded by the holy Urubamba River. For an agricultural people, there was nothing more important than water, and here was a place firmly in the water's embrace. There is one more piece of evidence connecting Machu Picchu to the sacred landscape. At the top of a pyramid-shaped peak within the complex is the sacred pillar known as the Intihuatana. This sacred pillar is in alignment with 4 mountain gods of supreme importance to the Inca, according to Johann Reinhard.
The Intihuatana is situated such that it's at a high point in the center of the entire complex. But at the same time, it's the center of this massive landscape, because you have, in the far distance, these great snow-capped peaks, the highest ones in the entire region.
They also happen to correspond to the cardinal directions